Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Moa, aka Swedish Whiskey Girl. Today I'm back with another Swedish whiskey, and it's the Efva, or Eva, if you will. It's a collaboration between Mackmyra and the Swedish designer Eva Attling. She's actually also designed a little cork, which is quite a hefty one. Let me see. It's quite cool, this one. It's very silvery, very nice. It's slightly different to their other moment whiskies, which tend to have this kind of design. But Eva went with their master blender, Angela, or their chief nose officer, which her title is, which I think is amazing. And they went down to the Bodås mine, which is their warehouse, which is 50 meters below the surface, which is quite cool, an old mine. And there they chose, I think, 19 casks, primarily Oloroso and American oak and ex-bourbon, and some of these casks had been saturated with birch tree sap wine. That's the kind of crazy thing you can do in Sweden. You can use ex-birch tree sap wine casks, which I just think is quite fun, because birch is of course quite an important tree that have... You can do a lot of things with the sap. There's also birch tree wine, which I've tried, sparkling birch tree wine. I can't say it, it's just a lot of words to keep track of, but that was really lovely. It's from a company called Sav, so if you're ever in Sweden, try that one. It's actually really nice. And yeah, I think it's fascinating when people can make lovely flavors from these kind of things. And I also know that Eva wanted this mixture of casks that were to be her whiskey to also be a little bit sweeter, so it also has the influence of some whiskey that's been matured in cherry casks. Cherry as in the fruit, not sherry as in fortified wine from Jerez. So ex-cherry casks. So it's one of my favourite Mackmyras, and I got this bottle from Angela herself, so it's quite special to me. I'm really grateful that she's shown us around the distillery and I've gotten to meet her. She's a big inspiration in the whiskey world to me. So yeah. And if you are curious about the distillery, remember to check out my blog, because I've written about it there. It's actually very easy to get to. It's about an hour away from Stockholm by train. So if you like whiskey and you want to see something Swedish and special, check that out. But let's have a look on the nose. The first thing I think of is pine, but then also this kind of dense, sweet fruitiness. Almost like red fruits, like red apples. And a bit of orange. Very fruity, but it also has this kind of forestness about it, which I think is the pine. And almost like... I had ginger kombucha earlier, so it's that kind of gingeriness that still lingers in my kind of flavour memory. Not on my palate, because it was hours ago, but it kind of makes me think of that, so I get a little bit of ginger. And pear. I think Mackmyra spirits, any of the ones I've tried so far, they have this kind of fruitiness about them. Like this kind of, it's almost like saturated super fruitiness, which is, you can get it a lot on the Brooks whiskey, which is kind of their standard core release range thing, and which is lovely. It's the most estery whiskey I've ever tried. It's just so fruity. And that kind of spirit, I think, comes through in a lot of the other ones. It's difficult to explain, but it's just super clear, super fruitiness. If that makes any sense. Yeah, pine, ginger, orange, and red apples is what I'm getting on the nose today. Oh, my nose is a little bit itchy today as well. But let's have a taste. Skål! Such a sweet treat, this one. But a sweet treat with also a lot of flavour. It's almost like a a raspberry cake, I would say. It has a lot of sweetness, which I think is why I like it, because I do like a bit of a sweet treat sometimes. And it's that clear fruitiness. I think if you try a grape or a pear or honeydew melon or something like that, you get this clear fruitiness. I think it has to do with the texture of it. I know I've spoken a bit about it before, but if you haven't seen those videos, I'll chat about it again. It has this kind of juiciness that comes from a lot of the fruit being made up with water. It's quite a watery fruit, and I think that makes it really clear. You have this set flavour, but the texture means that it's almost like when you drink water, that also tastes really clear often, if you don't have like water where my parents live in the countryside, which tastes like iron, but you know what I mean. It's, hopefully, but it's that kind of fruitiness that is the thing that stands out with Mackmyra for me in almost all their whiskies. Also very soft on the palate. It's very, very fruity today. Has a touch of a woodiness that goes really lovely with the fruits. I'm very weak for this one. I love this one. It's a great whiskey. And I think one of the reasons why it is my favourite whiskey is because it's just this burst of flavour. And it's just very interesting. It's very Swedish. I think it's Swedish, it's quirky, and it's fun. 3 things that I wish, or I hope I am. It's, yeah. I mean, if I was a whiskey, I would like to say that this might be it. But I don't know. If you were a whiskey, what would you be? Let me know in the comments below. It's a fun game. I play it with my friends sometimes. And sometimes it's also fun to ask your friends what they think. If you were a whiskey, what do they think you would be? I play this game when we were bored, or when we used to be bored at my old work, we used to play this game. It's a little bit fun. Oh, now on the palate it's almost a bit leathery, almost like tobacco-y. Yeah, a little bit leathery on the palate. Quite a dense mouthfeel to it. Almost a bit candy, like pear candy as well. Yeah, I mean, a lovely whiskey. I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you tried the Mackmyra Efva? Have you tried any of the other Mackmyra whiskies? Or perhaps you've tried another Swedish whiskey? I'd love to review more Swedish whiskies. And I'm gonna do my very best to buy a bottle. Maybe when I go to Sweden, hopefully over Christmas, I'll get some bottles when I'm there. Yeah, it would just be great. I mean, I'm always gonna have a soft spot for Swedish whiskey and Scandinavian whiskies, of course, as well. So I know High Coast have a lot of really good whiskies that I've tried before that I really would like to review for you as well, and I know it's been requested. I would love to try Ven, maybe some more from Smögen, and I know Gotland whiskey also has a few expressions. And if you are Swedish and watching this, hello! I'd love to connect with you guys a little bit more. I'd love to hear your recommendations. Do you have any recommendations of Swedish whiskey that do you think I have to try? Please let me know. And of course, if you like this video and what I'm doing on my other social channels, I'd be absolutely over the moon if you consider using my affiliate links the next time you're shopping with either Master Malt, the Whisky Exchange, or the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. All the information is of course in the little section here below, as well as links to my other social channels if you're curious about that. But as always, a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. I'm so grateful I have you guys. It's a nice little community that we're building together. I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful day. Sláinte Skål.